but apparently she didn't get no food sponsors. So she's not really living
Why
up
you
to
were not trying to be funny and that was funny. You weren't even trying to be funny. All right, you're back for a hopefully not choppy episode of #Randomly with Ronnie Jr. I'm joined by filmmaker and host and a whole bunch of other things, Courtney Stewart. What's up, Courtney?
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Good. We don't have Russell Ray with us. He's usually doing the episodes, so I have to ask you immediately, what is your overall take of this series, the new era? Are you loving them? What's going on?
I actually really do love what they're doing. I love the girls. I love what we're seeing. I love that it's very, for lack of a better term, it's a little Kardashian production going on, looking like it's very glitzy the way they shoot it and edit it together. So I'm into it and it feels relatable. Like I feel like I would know these girls and would enjoy hanging out with them. So I think it was a good breath of fresh air.
What does Kardashian-esque mean? What does that mean?
I just mean, if you like the new Kardashian series on Hulu, the way that it's produced and shot is just a little bit sleeker. It's a little bit different energy than it was on E. And I feel like the New York women are getting that similar treatment. It's a little bit glitzier and a little bit sleeker than any of the other Housewives.
Well, that was the number one thing I had a complaint with. I mean, obviously those seasons where, March 2020, when the world changed, you could only do what you could. But the whole thing, I thought, when things were going like, oh, is Ramona, has she, gone too far, or is the show, kind of petering out or whatever? I used to say, well, what you need to do is stop sending them to like Salem and keep them in New York. Like, we need to know where they live, where they shop. And I thought that was really good. We not only saw Jacob the jeweler, but we also saw a fashion brand that Jessel was very much into. And these are the things that, sure, you could say, is it product placement? I don't know for sure. But at the same time, it's what makes you want to take a bite out of the proverbial Big Apple, I think.
100%. And I think that's actually kind of missing in all of the other Housewives right now. We don't get the vibe of what they actually do and go and where they're actually at. I mean, Orange County kind of had, back in the day, Orange County, like when they went to Puerto Vallarta all the time, like we knew that Andales was the place that Vicky always wanted everybody to go to, like places that they actually frequent and actually have a life in. We don't get as much anymore. It's like they just put them at restaurants to fight, and it's gotten real lame. But we're not talking about Atlanta. But anyway.
Oh gosh, the Kenya Moore show. I only will always love that show because of Kenya Moore. So if Kenya's not on it, then I won't love it as much. But I love Candy too. I will tell you, speaking of Candy, and this is my next question to you, Courtney, and then we'll get right into the episode. Can you tell me who your favorite on this particular franchise is? I'm going to give you mine first, and there's a bias. I own my bias. Yes. So I was on that Watch What Happens Live with Andy Candy and ERIN LICHY. So, I for real always liked her because there is the native New Yorker-ness of it all. Reference the song by Odyssey. But the point is, I just really do enjoy her. There's not necessarily a favorite, but who comes to mind for you that you really enjoy?
Honestly, okay, let me just say, I actually really do like all the girls. Like, I think they all bring something very different and interesting, and I enjoy watching all of them still. But I was a fan of Sai in terms of her influencer-ness for years. So it's cool to see her like actually speak and like living life and what she's actually like. But my favorite character is still Jenna. Like Jenna, I think is a really interesting person. And I think that, first of all, her house is fabulous. That closet is amazing. And just everything about her is just really cool. And I'm interested in like what's really going on with Jenna. Like, I want to meet her girlfriend, even though that didn't work out. Like, I want to know more about Jenna.
Yeah, or the girl from Schitt's Creek. There was a potential hookup there, but I guess it didn't happen. Jenna is good. And I think she said it once earlier in the episodes where she was like, I only want to talk in front of people that are forced to listen, because it's that level of like, she's a boss, which we love, but she's also got nervous energy, and that mixture is fun. It makes it feel like a little bit more real for yourself, because oftentimes in these businesses, these creative fields specifically, you have to overcompensate at all times. Like, you could have a bad day, but you got to show up bigger and better. So for somebody to be like, She's in charge. She's doing well for her career,
Yes.
and she's still nervous. I love
Nervous
it.
and
I love it.
awkward and uncomfortable with some of the other girls, but still so smart and so interesting and has so much to share. But yeah, it's cool. It makes them human and cool, and not just because usually the trend for like the great housewife is like somebody that's just insane. Like Ramona is an insane person. Like,
yeah.
she's interesting and she was good TV, but she was insane. Jenna is totally like grounded and seems like a intelligent, logical human being. But she's also got her quirks, and the quirks make her super interesting.
I also love Jessel. I feel like Jessel and Erin, their awkward conversations also is good. They could speak two different languages and be from two different universes, and I still eat it up. Real quick, as I was telling you a second ago, we'll take a little quick moment here just to see what I'm talking about as to why I have my bias with Erin because of Watch What Happens Live, and we start on the show together. In theory.
Yeah, like it's nothing for us to beef about.
Okay. Here's Ronnie, also from LA, with a question for Erin.
Hi.
What's up, Andy? Candy, you are worldwide, just letting everybody know.
Yeah, she knows.
Quick question for Erin, loving the season. Why do you think Brynn said on Watch What Happens Live that you couldn't be trusted? And where do you stand with her today?
I think she said that because of Cheesegate, because she felt like I was being disingenuous about the conversation, which I wasn't. It will all play out. We love each other, but we butt heads. And
all right.
Oh, well, that was fun. So I will say that I always like Erin, the native New Yorker, but at the same time, that is my bias. I think her and Abe had a really wonderful get together here. We'll get to that in a second. Anything that struck out in terms of being interesting at the beginning? Was it too much to see Jacob the jeweler? Did you love? This is good. Uba coming through. Yes.
Uba. I mean, first of all, seeing Jacob the jeweler is never too much, and seeing what he has, it's always too much because clearly I can't afford it. But those $244,000 earrings, and then he gave her that like mesh glove with the diamonds for over $200,000. That's what we want from the housewives. We want to see the stuff that we are wishing and hoping that one day we get to lay our hands on as well. So I thought it was fantastic. And I love that Uba was the one that was like, yes, I met him in Monaco. They were at some fundraiser for Prince Albert or something, like whatever. I think it's great. And I love that Uba was there. Uba is very much like, what's her name? I think Kiki in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Kiki? I feel like we aren't getting enough of Uba because I find her entertaining. She's gorgeous and I want to see more of her. And every time I do see her, she's having a good time and she's good TV. So I just want more.
In terms of her opulence, yes, I like how nonchalant she is. She obviously has been here before. You know, there's sometimes that thing where like a housewife needs to prove it to you. Uba doesn't really prove nothing. She just happens to be really connected or fabulous, et cetera, et cetera. And I agree with you. I would like to see a little bit more. I mean, it was a bit touching hearing, how challenging she's, going through life without her mother and how she wants to create her business necessarily without investors, but more so in the community aspect. That's what she's familiar with. So there's something on the way. The one thing I'm going to tell you that I'm most excited with Uba, and she got sick in this episode, so we didn't get to see a lot of her.
Yeah.
I want to know what the previews or what we've seen in the flash forwards here, that she's going to get to a point where she's going to take off Erin's glasses.
Snatching glasses, honey.
What is that about, Courtney?
No, snatching glasses. I don't know, because nothing about Uba reads that like she'll take it there. It's kind of like whatever, like she would walk away or be ignored, but like she stepped up to Erin and snatched those glasses off her face. So I don't know what they're arguing about, but I'm ready, child.
Yeah, we need to see more of like what happened before and after, and how do you react to that? This is the part of reality TV that gets challenging because this stuff is going to play over and over and over. And I don't know, when it gets to it wasn't physical. It just shocked me because you don't really expect that out of Uba from what we've seen.
Not at all. So it must. I mean, look, I know you love Erin. I was loving Erin before the show started because she did a few interviews before, like for press, and I was just like, she just seems like, like you said, native New Yorker, very grounded. Like she seems like she's gonna be the normal person in all of it. And Jessel was the insane person. But Jessel had a real good point in this episode.
No, what?
She had a real good point when she was talking to Brynn about Erin's had a problem with everybody. At some point,
Oh gosh.
it's not everybody. It's you, girl.
But wait, isn't that the same for Jessel too?
We already know Jessel's in.
Yeah. Well, because I always say that there's so much room for all of us, to do recaps and have our own YouTube channels and radio, podcasting, you as a filmmaker, all these things. There's always room for everybody. So there'll be times where I'll watch other shows just for entertainment. I really like what a lot of people do. And I remember watching one show, I can't remember which one it was in particular, but they were like, oh, Erin seems to be very, what was the term? Like, not defensive, but like, sensitive. And in my mind, I said, I think that's actually the opposite. I think that's that quick, like if I don't like what you said, I'm gonna tell you what it is and keep it moving. But I also want to be open to the idea. Do you think she's more just nips everything in the bud, or do you think she is actually sensitive?
I mean, I'm not
kind of
sure
tough.
if it's sensitive because it's hard because each conflict was very different. Like the situation with Jessel, I think, I'm sorry, Jessel was being a brat, and I think it was rude. So I understand sort of coming for that. I feel like we didn't get a real view of Cheesegate just because it looks like the way they edited that first episode had to change a little bit because one of the cast members left the show or whatever. So I feel like we didn't get a good edit of what that conflict really was. And yeah, it's kind of crappy when your homegirls want to go to a restaurant without you because they think the other restaurant is not cool. But at the end of the day, we all grown. Why do you care so much? So I don't know. So I don't know if it's sensitivity yet. I can't pass judgment on that. But she's giving a little Jessel bratty to me in this episode when she's bothered by Sai leaving.
Well, can I say full transparency? And this is what makes me hopefully a good host or whatever. I make my mistakes, sure. But I feel like I gotta say, unfortunately, I'm very defensive, right? And I feel like I see myself in just Jessel. And I see myself in Erin because I am the type that doesn't, I'm wound real tight, real tight. So a lot of times I'm like, well, what? Da-da-da-da. And I always have something to say, but it doesn't mean I'm mad. I'll let you know when I'm mad, right? Yeah. And so to me, that's my case that I'm making for Erin, that I don't think she's actually that mad. I just think she always has something to say. So again, takes one to know one. And really, I just
always having something to say, but it's also taking an issue with everything. You're taking an issue with everything that isn't that serious. Homegirl was hungry and she's grown. She should be able to leave. She came, she supported, and she needed to leave because she needed to eat. We need you to not be bothered by that every time because you clearly don't give nobody no food.
Oh. We'll get to that. And I want to talk about Erin running a tight ship because that's kind of what we see in terms of how she started dating Abe and certain things that needs to be this way. And she is very regimented, which I like. We'll get to that in a second. Was there anything else you wanted to speak upon in terms of Brynn and Jessel's exchange while they were getting ready for the big event? They did make fun of Erin a little bit. They said the invitation was a little over the top. I don't know.
I understand what they were saying. Because you think it's like an anniversary party. You don't expect to see 80 sponsors at the bottom. I thought Brynn was hilarious when she said it was like a Coachella poster or whatever she said.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just don't expect that. Go her, because that means other people paid for all this stuff. But apparently she didn't get no food sponsors. So she's not really living.
Why you were not trying to be funny and that was funny. You weren't even trying to be funny.
Look, I'm going to say that I am with Uba and Sai on this food situation. Do not have me coming somewhere all the time for drinking and all of that, and you ain't got no food. That is unacceptable.
Don't worry, Erin. I'll defend you, even though Courtney wants to come for you. It's okay, Erin. I got your back. No.
But she looked real cute, though. She
did. Well, can we talk about the dating and the getting ready to celebrate the 10 years? First thing I thought of literally was oh, he doesn't want to check his coat. It's oh my gosh, this is like Friends. This is like Chandler and Monica. No, you can't have my jacket because I've got the ring in the jacket.
I got something cute.
I thought it was cute.
It was very cute, and it was a very nice ring. Very well done, Abe. That was great. And Erin looked hot. That dress.
Oh my goodness.
Split up to the hip bone. I was like, okay, girl. After 2 kids and she is rocking her hip out like that, get it?
I love the way it was very covered up on the top, but the party was, with the leg. It was really, really good. And he's so attractive too. 1 to 10, where are you giving him? 1 to 10 on an attractive level for Abe. What are we saying?
Okay, Abe ain't really my type.
Oh, can I tell you?
But he's sweet though. So like the sweet factor gets him up on the scale a little higher. I'd give Abe like a 7.
Okay, I'm gonna give him a good 8.5.
Okay.
Because he looks like he treats her well, and that
Yes,
really rubs off, you know. And
sure.
she mentioned it. She's like, we have that perfect balance, and in relationships, that is a really cool thing to have. She's like, I'm excited. He's a little more low key. It just really works.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the one comment that I said, I go, gosh, I guess I'm not around this much money, because I've heard, you know, of course, we always say, oh, I don't go above 14th Street. She said, I don't go above Canal. Like
Now.
that's a whole different kind of money that I'm like, oh, I mean, you could go above Canal. I don't go above Canal. I'm like, wow.
Okay, girl. All right.
She got the money. But you know, on an interview I was watching, I think they're gonna move away from Tribeca actually, because the kids I think are going to school uptown. So I
Okay.
believe in the show we're seeing them as very Tribeca people, but I
Mhm.
don't think that's where they're going to you know, next
Yeah.
season and stuff like that.
Well,
So
you know, something whenever you got kids, sometimes you got to make changes. So
yeah.
do what works. Do what works, child.
We'll take a quick little break right now, because we, of course, always want to shout out, you know, Courtney and all the work she does, and my YouTube channel. Please comment, like, subscribe. Russell's not with us today, but of course, we always have a clip of either me or him or maybe Courtney one day acting up. But let's take a quick look at this, and then we'll talk about the next scene here.
Look, I'm wearing a
Oh, wait, he
practically
wants-
see-through baby.
She's ready for a close up. She's ready for a close.
Look,
Oh, you
The
better.
high waist. Hold on.
Not that I'm in the
High
gym
waist.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
He would do a
Yeah.
spin. He would do. Oops.
Okay. When you said New York fashion, I'm gonna do this one more time just so y'all can see it. Hold on. Taking off the earphones.
Look at this is his way to make sure he gets the subscriptions on the YouTube,
Yeah.
or maybe OnlyFans. Look at you do a little spin over there. If you're not Apparently, Russell's not with us today. He's jet setting and all these things, but he might be the Brynn of our recaps. I don't know. That's giving very Brynn, right?
It was giving definitely Brynn, especially Brynn with the Brynn's giving and the back out
Oh,
and the constant,
yeah.
like greeting everybody with her back. It was amazing. Speaking of which, I was a little disappointed with her choice and outfit for this party in this episode.
Was that because she wanted to put on this whole character of you know, the Parent Trap, and that was like the whole like I'm gonna be your stepmom? I think we're jumping a little ahead, because I do want to still talk quickly about Jessel and her husband and the kids and whatnot.
Yes.
And how controlling she is of him. But I gotta say, I might be a Jessel apologizer. Is that the word? Like, I seem to be like, yo, she is crazy. What is wrong with her? But then I look in the mirror and I says, I'm very similar. And I'm owning it. I mean, it's like I'm not exactly like her, but like I really enjoy watching her on the television. What do you think about like just her kind of like social climbing in terms of where she wanted her kids to go to school? Do you think that was a valuable thing in the long run, or do you think that's kind of a nuisance?
I mean, look, is it a nuisance? Sure, it's obnoxious, but at the same time, she's not wrong. Like, going to school matters, and where you go, because you do rub elbows with different people. And even those of us, you know, that kind of came up regular in the public schools and whatever, and went to colleges, and you were supposed to go to these great colleges because, you know, you were super smart or you got in or whatever. A lot of us didn't even realize how important it was that not only did you go there, but you had to like actually build relationships with people that have pull in this society. And even though America tries to act like it's a class-less society, it's not. Classism still exists. It's real, and it can affect your future. So she's not wrong. But when she was running down that list of everything for the preschool and said that they get an iPad for $65,000,
he's become comedy too, just because he has to deal with her. Like,
he's a grounded human being, and she's insane. And it is the funniest thing. He was like, she's like, oh, they get an iPad and they get whatever snacks. And he was like, and it's $65,000? Like, that makes no sense. And they're in preschool. But that also, like, just for the record, the insanity of preschool being $65,000. What do you do in preschool besides sit and eat animal crackers?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure she mentioned a lot of really good things, like you said, like say what you say, but it
Mhm.
does connect you in certain ways. But what's fun on the television and to be edited is like, ooh, we could rub shoulders with Tom Cruise. Like, I
Exactly.
think, I think, like, even though we make fun of Jessel and we laugh at her and all these things, I relate to her sometimes. I still feel like she's a little smarter than she's letting on the show. I think this
Oh,
comic
for
relief
sure.
is like she probably sits there and films for an hour and a half, but we're only getting just the asinine, silly things. But it's good for
100%.
TV. She's so on the guy though. She's so on him about, oh, you went to go buy your clothes, and I don't really
Yeah.
trust you. And I gotta say, this is what made me really be proud of him or like him. He looked so good, like he put it together despite the nagging that she does.
Yep. That's real love there. He's just like,
Yeah.
okay, girl, whatever. I'm gonna do what I do. And he's just chill and even kill the whole time. So he's
Now, I don't know
enjoyable.
if Courtney, I don't know if you are a relationship expert. I know you're a filmmaker, a host, all these things. What do you think is the root of the problem with them not getting it on ever? I mean, this is what is your take on all that?
Look, I think that Sai's husband has a very clear, kind, gracious grasp of what she may be going through. Like, granted, I've never given birth to a child from my own body, but I have had children in the household, and it's not easy. And she went through 7 years of IVF. And for those that don't know, IVF is shots after shots of hormones, shifting your energy, your moods, your attitude. And you literally are on a schedule for when you can have sex, because you have to do it when you're actually ovulating and when, linings are proper and whatever, in hopes that you actually get pregnant. So if you did that for 7 years and you had to like regiment it, and then you finally get pregnant, and not only do you get pregnant, but you have twins, and they're still they're not even 2 years old yet, or almost two. Her body still is probably working out the hormones that she was injecting for 7 years. Like, she probably still isn't completely balanced back to what would be considered normal. So she's still postpartum and all of that. Like, it doesn't make sex attractive. And she's, a woman of a particular age, continue to age. What is she, in her late 30s? Headed towards 40? Like, hormones change. So I'm a little shocked that they haven't figured out something for almost 2 years, and that he's okay with it. I understand why she's not pushing for it. I don't understand how he's not to the point where he's like, okay, well, we might not have to have sex, but we got to do something.
Well, yeah, and the idea that like, okay, on a normal day to day, you have your own lives, like, but when you're going to Erin and Abe's, anniversary, they looked beautiful as a couple. Like, to me, that would be like the perfect time. You know what I mean? Like, get the babysitter or have your mother. I don't know if the mother lives there, but obviously she has support and help. They got money for it.
Get help, child.
Real quick, Courtney, do you have anything before we go to the next thing, do you have anything to promote or any like social media handles you want to put out there in the universe? We'd love to support in any way.
Well, I would love for you guys to obviously follow me at Stewart Starlet, but also follow me at Silver Guardian Productions, which is my production company. And we're working on some really cool things in the metaverse that are coming up. So check that out. And if you have projects that you are looking for some production support on, hit us up on our website and send us over a little contact us page and let us know what you got going on, and we can help you out.
You said you like Sai, so I want to talk about Sai and the relationship with the husband. Just a brief moment. We only had a little bit from them, but we'll do that in 1 second. But while Courtney was letting us know about her stuff, we always got to talk about randomly Ronnie Jr. 1 second.
Well, hello there. Thank you for watching and supporting the show with my good friend, Randomly Ronnie Jr. Who the hell am I? Great question. My name is Mark Rodriguez with Mastermind Media, and I wanted to take just a moment of your time to let you know about all the other incredible things this guy, Randomly Ronnie Jr. has going on. But first, before we get into that, please comment, like, and subscribe. That is how he grows here on these channels. But one channel you probably don't know about is patreon.com/ youtube.com/randomly Ronnie Jr., where he's got a bunch more exclusive content. So please check that out. But speaking of YouTube, let's go back to YouTube for a second. He's got this hashtag randomly with Ronnie Jr. and it shows all of his stuff in his days in radio from back in the day, all the way up to present day, and his new interviews, podcasts, just videos across the board. So please check that out, because when you think about content creators, there's millions of content creators, but there's only one, randomly Ronnie Jr. Let's get back into the show.
Well, I mean, we should always listen.
There's only one.
I agree with everything he said. So you said you like Sai. Now, we didn't get much from her. My question to you, just what was your reaction to what we did get from her before we get to the party? But you said you followed her on Instagram prior. I did not really. I began to kind of see and be aware of her once she was on the show.
Yes.
I gotta say, there's a lot of good qualities that I really enjoy, but I don't know if you said it like this, but like with Uba, you want more.
Yes.
I feel like there's something I'm still missing with Sai. I love the scene where she said it's not just content creator, like it's no big deal. Like, no, we've got deliverables. I've got an accountant. I've got this, and this.
Mhm.
That I want to see more of, maybe.
Yes.
But I want to say there's a little bit. Oh gosh, I shouldn't. A tiny bit of I want more or lacklusterness in Sai in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying not to be too negative about it because she still is a really fun cast member.
Yeah.
But I feel like when I watch the show, I'm like, I love Jessel. I love Erin. Jenna's so fun. Uba, like everyone, is that everybody? Yeah. Everyone really excites me. And Sai's stuff, I have not really got excited. Now, did I think about her when I was walking? It was about a week and a half ago. I was walking from Clinton Hill to Fort Greene to go to the Soul Summit. And I was looking at like beautiful brownstones. I'm like, oh, I want to live in there. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what Sai said. So she definitely is making an impact, but I want more. Where you at with all that?
I agree. I think there's more to be had. I think that, like I said, I followed her, like, what was it, like 12 years ago? Like when she was first doing it. Her son wasn't even born. Her daughter was a little baby, like, and she had Scout the City and she would dress up with her daughter. And like, it was just a cool page that, and in fact, back in the day when we did Fashion 411 on AfterBuzz Network, we used to talk about her all the time because she was such a cool influencer. But I think that seeing her with her husband in this episode, I think gives us more clues into when he brought up how, it's funny that people are talking to you about their feelings because you're not that person. And I can understand why she comes across so almost presentational, because as an influencer, she's been doing it for so long. So she wants to present a thing and an image, and she's not quite in that like super open space with like what's her core. So I think it'll just take some more time, hopefully. But I mean, I'm here for the looks. I'm here for the Brooklyn brownstone. I love her husband and her relationship. The kids are gorgeous. Even though the first time we saw her in the first episode and I saw her house and I saw all of that white furniture and white carpets, and I was like, you have small children, Miss Lady. How is this happening? How is this okay? And of course, we get this episode with her son coloring on her white table and on her white carpet.
Yeah, I was watching an interview on her or with her, and it was like, referring to like the no shoes policy and Erin, how she wanted to wear the shoes because it completes the look. Yes. And Sai's thing was like, but I've got a white carpet. Like, that's why it's an absolute no, beyond the fact that it's disgusting.
It's also
but you're right. Like the kids are like living in that living situation and they've got to be, on eggshells to some degree. It's beautiful, but it is almost logistically a bit challenging, I think.
For sure. But go her, because she clearly is going to have to keep just cleaning up after the kids. And the husband got right to the spray on the rug to make sure it got cleaned up. But yeah, so
he's really fun. And I haven't followed her like you. Obviously, you've been following her for a while. This is the first time we're seeing who her husband is, I believe. I think that was like a new thing. Yeah.
Never knew who he was ever.
And you're right. If you are always creating content on such a perfectionist level, it probably is. You see a camera, you give the same skill set. So I think she's definitely, I want her on a season 2 and 3 and 4. She's great. It's just I think we'll get more. And I also got to tell you, Courtney, I'm a little bit I second guess influencers, because I got to tell you, I watched that Summer House and one of the worst Bravo celebrities ever to do it, gorgeous as all can be, on paper looks amazing, could not be the most stale and ruin the show type of gal.
You are not talking about Paige DeSorbo.
That Paige DeSorbo is just stinking up the place. Now I'm perfect, so I could judge. You know, you can't throw rocks at glass houses, but I'm perfect, so I could judge. Oh, that Paige DeSorbo has ruined that show.
Her. She has not ruined it. I love her. Paige is the driest, snarkiest, best. I love Paige.
And you would think I like her too, because I love an ERIN, a stoic, a New Yorker, like, you know, kind of like, you know, not always giving that warmth, but is a cool person.
Yes.
Paige is lackluster. I could tell you that much for sure. But we shall move on. We shall move on. And hopefully Summer House will do something about it.
Shout out to Summer House, though. And shout out to Loverboy, because I actually tried them finally for the first time. The drink that they're always like showing on the show. Daryl and I actually had
nice
Loverboy at his beach birthday party this weekend, and it was very good.
Well, two things. I want the Loverboy for sure, and I wish I would have been at the birthday party.
I know. Where
although it was my brother's birthday, so you know, August 18th, the Leos represent, which is good because they only get us ready for the Virgos, which are coming. And my birthday is coming, so I cannot wait. 43s never look so good. Okay, let's move on. So at the party, what jumped out to you? So obviously some of the things that we saw where the girl's hair got on fire. Jenna not only tells us she's no longer dating the mystery girl, and she also touches Erin's butt that Erin doesn't really find out right away. What is your accident? Huh?
I said it was kind of an accident.
It was that awkward energy. I mean, I'm almost like, are you allowed to just touch somebody's butt like that? But you know, it's Jenna, I guess, and their relationship is cool, I guess. Yeah,
it was a little weird, but I mean, I 100% agreed with Brynn when she said it was like a Bank of America Christmas party / bat mitzvah / what is going on, like. But it was beautiful space and flowers and alcohol, but like the bars are pretty, and Erin looked amazing wearing her chain metal like armor dress that was super sexy with the diamonds, and you know, everybody looked well. Actually, no, I really hated Jessel's outfit. I really hated Jessel's outfit.
The purple?
The purple.
Was it too frumpy or what? What's going on?
It was very frumpy. Like, and I get that it was trying to be like super glamorous, like Diana Ross kind of thing, but it just looked frumpy and schleppy and just not enough. Not enough.
I never thought we would hear Diana Ross and Jessel in the same category, but I mean, whoa, child, you get it.
Diana Ross, but she didn't quite make it.
Oh, okay. She was dressed for less. Marshalls. No, that's Ross. Okay. Anyway, so what did you think about Brynn coming in? You know, a little, you know, up there.
Brynn's a party girl, you know. She had her sunglasses on, saying her eyes were bloodshot, and I was with it with the big fur and the sunglasses, but I wanted a more fabulous dress underneath that looked like the basic dress that we've seen for like the last, I would say, 6 years. I've seen it in yellow, I've seen it in blue. I don't remember who the dress is by, but like, but I've seen the long version, and she had a short version on. So I get that she was trying to go cocktail, bride, whatever, but it was just kind of lame. I was not into it.
Can I tell you why I harshly critique Brynn, and I shouldn't, but why I also am starting to see another side of her too? So there's two different sides of the coin here. My little sister, who's similar in age, was like, oh, I like watching Brynn because it gives like, you know, access into the life of like, you know, the girl dating and, you know, maybe looking for a husband and kids and all these things. So I was like, oh, okay, so there's a relatability in navigating that. And it just so happens to be New York City and this opulent lifestyle. Where I know I should not be this critical. So like if she's funny, and in the confessionals, I think she's funny. Like she said, oh, how do I amuse my time? Well, let me tell you, like, I think that's all really good. Where I worry, and I should not be this harsh, but I feel like a little gimmick that's coming through is I'm going to be like, you know, Erin's stepmother. I'm dressed like I'm in the Parent Trap. And I gotta tell you, you're gonna hate this. You know who it reminds me of? Look at me and my comparisons. Paige DeSorbo comes up in our conversation. I feel like when Brynn goes too gimmicky, it doesn't happen a lot, but I'm just so sensitive to it because she ruined the show. She almost sounds a little bit like Leah sometimes. And you know, Leah was not good for Real Housewives of New York. You know that.
Well, it's funny because I didn't mind Leah at first. Like that first season, I was like, it's a little bit much, but it was a burst of different energy that I needed. But yeah, it turned wrong fast. So I hear what you're saying, and I do feel like Brynn is also playing a character still, and not like we have glimpses into like Brynn being just Brynn, and we also mostly have Brynn putting on a show for everybody. But some of that is probably a part of her actual personality. Just, you know, she has had a lot to cope with over the years. Right. And so that may be accurate for her personality, but it'll be nice to see as time goes on to continue to watch her be a little more of a vulnerable person and just the real energy that is her. That's fun and also light, obviously, but not also trying to put on a show for people.
And in the grand scheme of things, the way life is, what's wrong with living the full fantasy? That's why I said it's a little bit of a harsh critique that doesn't necessarily make sense. And if there was never Leah's second season, which I wasn't really that thrilled her first, but I definitely wasn't loving her second season.
No.
If there wasn't that comparison and that like putting on for the camera, being a little too set up, a little too staged, I'd be like really more into Brynn. But that's the only thing where I gotta like side eye myself and say, Brynn is not Leah. Relax. They're totally different. But that's what I worry about in terms of Brynn. But she's generally pretty cool. I don't know that I love the reaction that they all had. Okay, so we got 4 different people making speeches. And of course, we're going to celebrate ERIN and Abe in their anniversary, 10 years. They've been together 12 years, kind of a fast marriage. I think Abe even mentioned that. But was this just all for TV? I don't know. Like, I feel like these housewives, these casted housewives, were very defensive when ERIN's sister said, can we keep it down? I don't think ERIN's sister was mean in any way. I feel like if you accidentally start cackling, I'm ready for your reaction. When you accidentally start cackling, I would feel, and you're in a certain setting, that I would be like, oh, you know what? You're right. You know what? Let me calm it down. All of them almost were like, well, what are you going to do? I think Brynn said, what are you going to do? Tell everyone else to be quiet? Like, I'm okay with the defensive person I am, but this I did not like. Tell me.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh, here we go. Is there a is there a boxing bell? Because it's on, baby.
It's on. It's on. Look. This is where I will give this new cast and season of New York its, flowers for realness. Because if I'm at this celebration with my girlfriends, right? They have not fed me no food for real, giving me a bunch of alcohol. And then I got to sit and listen to these people with these long speeches go on and on and on and on. And I don't know how long it lasted because it could be editing to make it look like it really was going on and on and on and on and on. But it definitely didn't seem like those were like short, concise, quick speeches to celebrate them. It seemed like it was taking quite some time. And if you're already hungry and you done had a few drinks, like I could imagine with my girlfriends that I'm going to be sitting there joking, laughing, saying, oh my God, is this over yet? Oh my God. And yes, it is not okay. You would be like, oh, we need to be mature. Hold on, we're being too loud. We're being too loud. But I agreed when the sister came at them, all the people around them were also talking. There was a lot of noise happening in that place.
Courtney, wait a minute. What are you saying?
Like, I don't think the response to the sister should have been what it'd been. I think they should have been like, oh, we're sorry. Well, sorry. Like, just say sorry. Don't go into like, oh, you're going to tell everybody else to shut up. Like, don't say that because that's just rude. But I do understand because I would be irritated. Like, how's she telling us to shut up? Everybody else talking too. I wouldn't have said it, but I definitely would have thought it. So I understand the sentiment, but that's also why I'm not a housewife, because I would still be polite to the sister.
Right. They did put on a show, that's for sure. Yeah. And that is what they are expected to do to, I actually just thought it was a cool thing, like for the sister to be so like, and I think the mom came through, like they were going to get these girls together.
But no, the mom came and she was trying to like talk to them. And Brynn was like, wait, we're not allowed to talk. They told us we got to shut up. And the mom, that's why I was like, it's not true.
But
like,
that's so smart ass. That's such a smart ass comment. I mean,
yes, it's a smart ass comment, but the point that other people were talking is the point of her saying that. It's like, oh, we need to shut up, but the mom is sitting here trying to talk to us right now. So again, they could have just said sorry, we'll try to be quiet and left it at that. But then it wouldn't have been as entertaining.
Well, as Elle Varner said, I also am perfectly imperfect. And I think I just really see parts of Jessel that are just like, oh my gosh, I do that too. I see parts of Erin and Erin's sister where I'm like, oh my gosh, I do that too. So it's fun to watch because, you know, we're not all perfect and everyone's trying to do what makes sense for them. I do think it's really wonderful if you're a family member and you're like, oh, I hear these ladies, you know, getting out of hand. Let me nip it in the bud. But I mean, they just were very, well, it caused, Sai to kind of go off of what she had been saying. I want to go get some food. And that was like the final straw for her.
She was irritated. And maybe that's part of the problem. I relate a little too much to Sai because I would be like, I'm not about to sit through this. I'm hungry. I need food.
Well, do we see it in this episode or was it on the trailer for the next episode? Like, was Erin that mad? She got real mad about this.
Well, she made the comment when they were taking the pictures, and then she threw it back to, well, she said it was rude when Jenna did it from my house, like, and it's rude again now. So, like, I don't know how mad she gets, but she clearly took offense to it and was bothered by it enough to, like, make it a thing. So how much she'll bring it up, we'll see. But I mean, in the end, going back to what Jessel said, she got a problem with everything everybody does that's not aligned with what she wants people to do.
Wait a minute. Good point. Love it thoroughly. Are the other women, because I'm thinking about it like this, and again, defending Erin. Yes, I am. Why, you ask? Because where's the little photo? I gotta get a little photo. Because we made remarkable television on that. Watch What Happens Live, the virtual caller with Andy Candy and Erin. There goes that randomly Ronnie Jr. Always up to no good. No. So here's a thing that I was thinking, because yes, it is now kind of being reflected as like Erin is the one who always has something to say, like Jessel mentioned. However, I do think it's kind of like Erin's been creating a lot of the events. So could it be that too? Like, we haven't really seen, like you know how it goes, I called you Brittany, Courtney, where when you're planning something, sometimes you're like, damn, why is everyone so unruly? Like, can we just?
Yes.
And then if you're, and you know it from when you're the one doing the planning, you know, it's kind of like if you're talking about like going to Dariel's birthday or whatever over the weekend, it's like, you kind of got to go with the flow. And I feel like these girls aren't going with the flow. So it gets us talking in terms of the television show. That's for sure.
You don't feel like they're going with the flow? I mean, hello, they were there. They sat through the speeches. Like, all she had literally, and the camera guys and the editors were shady because they kept showing that one tray of pigs in a blanket going around the party. And I was like, I cannot believe this woman had this huge party and that is the only hors d'oeuvre they were offering. Like, they had to have had other trays of something. But then Sai was like, no, they just had pigs in a blanket. So I was just like, if I were her, I would be pissed. I would leave. I
will agree with you, but I know in my mind that Erin will have a defense for this. She'll be
like, I had cheese.
No, not cheese.
Or like when they were coming to the Hamptons house and she's like, I've got a caviar bar. I would have walked in as well and been like, is this all we're eating? And even if you're going to caviar, but like, I need a meal.
Oh gosh, I wouldn't want to host anything for anybody in this case. I'm like, you know what? Meet me there. Go get your room. Go get your Airbnb because you're not staying with me.
I mean, in her first episode with her family, Erin talked about how much they get together for meals and they love to cook. It's like, girl, what are y'all eating? Because you're not feeding nobody at none of your events. What is going on?
Well, you know what? I can't. Andy needs to ask that question at the reunion because it is a good question. I'm sure Erin's got something to say, which is what I love about her. What did you think about Erin's dad and the new girlfriend, the young girlfriend? I guess that's a regular thing. Yeah.
Well, the girlfriend is of at least of age, as Erin said. Like, she wasn't like super young. I'm like, look, daddy happy, be happy. Shoot. He's a good looking dude. Let him have his life. Do his thing.
What about Brynn flirting a little bit with Abe? That was all honest fun, I thought, right?
See, I thought it was honest fun, but I feel like Erin's gonna have a problem with it because she took it a little too specific, talking about I'll be your next wife, we can trade, swap. I don't think Erin's gonna think that's funny. Because you gotta and Erin's also like Brynn is too pretty to be that flirtatious with her friend's man. Like that's a little like you
and they're not close enough as I deemed them, or everyone's deemed them. They're frenemies. So that does become a little bit of a line. I was kind of okay with it. I thought it was just very quintessential Brynn. But it does seem like it's going to develop. In the trailer, it looked like Erin tried to say something, and Brynn tried to be like, "Don't call me a what did she say? Don't call me a
mistress or a homewrecker or something."
Homewrecker, or yeah. So honestly, even though it's gonna suck to get there, that's gonna be like the first real reason. Like, we haven't had big arguments with stakes. When we start talking about, you came to my anniversary party, sure, I didn't feed you, but you got a little too flirty with my man. Like, it does seem like now we got a show going.
There's
and for
line. Yeah.
So I'm actually very interested to see what episode 7 looks like. Last question to you, and then if you have any last comments, Courtney, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Welcome.
I've obviously done episodes on my own, which is fun, but it's always good to banter with somebody, because even though I'm perfect, you all, I guess I'm not always perfect. But what I was going to ask you, and then give me your thoughts. So Jenna deciding that she was going to keep the relationship private. Do you feel in reality TV that's okay? And or do you think she did it because the relationship was already somewhat on rocky ground? What was your take on all that?
Oh, that's a good point. I would say, in response to your first question, is it okay being on reality TV? I think that if you are dating, yes. If you are married, I think that's a different conversation. Because if you're married, a lot more of your life is in your home and with your partner, and to like not have that person is just, I think that's a little strange. And I don't know how tension wise that would really work. Like, it's one thing to like not want to be like super prominent on the show, but like to refuse to tape it all seems strange to me if you're married and living together. But if you're just dating and you're not living together, and I don't see any reason why you have to show them. Like, I don't feel like I get less of you that way, especially if the person isn't interested in being on the show. Like, I don't have a problem with it, especially if you have enough of a full life around.
Right. She does have a full life. And where I had a little sensitivity towards it, like, obviously you want more. You love Jenna. We love Jenna, the character on the show. We like it. Yeah. I watched her entire HBO series and was quite inspired by it, actually.
Yeah.
However, I love when somebody says, no, I'm not. I understand this is the medium. This is the reality TV format, but no, like, I control my life. You know what I mean? And you have to take the repercussions, or the fans may not like it, whatever. I do like that. Where I think I really but sympathized for Jenna was that on one stage of her life, she was publicly outed in such a way. So she might be really just very uncomfortable with what she's already went through. And so it might make it a little easier to just kind of be like, I want to keep it, more private. But I also wondered, like, she had stated, it's been about a month and a half that things have not been going wonderful. So, maybe it was like, I'm not going to show this person.
And it was probably the tail end of it, because based on when they started taping, the relationship clearly was probably, like you said, on its way out anyway. And she just hadn't decided for sure that was the case. So, sorry. Gigi wanted to let y'all know she approves of Jenna's choices as well.
We love Gigi. I love doing episodes with you. This is now probably our 3rd or 4th. So, whenever you're available to me, I would love to do more episodes with you. You have wonderful insight. We've known each other in the broadcast space for over 10 years. We just haven't got to do a lot together. We deferred on our opinion with who I like to call Nono Lacks, Nene Leaks, because Nono lacks that she's always lacking. So we deferred on our opinions there. Courtney thought she was wonderful. I did not.
I thought she was wonderful for a period of time, but I'm honored when she went left.
My last thing is, so I was saying how I see a little like I'm the Erin or Jessel of podcasting. Let's say I'm just being funny with it, not serious. we saw Russell, who was dipping and doing it. He's the Brynn of podcasting.
Yeah.
Who are you in terms of these cast members? Which one do you identify with the most?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, like right off, like I said earlier, I am 100% identified with Sai because I would leave your party if you're not feeding me. Period. But I also really identify with Jenna, just like the awkwardness around, new people and a lot of people and like situations where you're not sort of the person that's like the boss controlling things. You're sort of just supposed to be there and light and whatever. Believe it or not, I'm a little shy, so I get that.
Listen, lots of people in the space are, you always look at like a Janet Jackson, real quiet, but will get on stage and just give us everything,
100%.
There's different sides of our personality. So the reality show, even though we're judgmental, it is sometimes hard to be that judgmental because, these are real human beings that we are talking about their whole lives. So,
For sure.
unless you're as boring as Jennifer Aiden, I guess, we should be kind. First No Lax and now Jennifer Aiden. Ooh,
Not Jennifer Aiden.
Randomly
Jennifer Aiden's
Ronnie.
a star. She's a star.
You know what? I think the show's over. Once again, your social media, and then we're out here, Courtney.
Follow me at Stewart Starlet and my company at Silver Guardian Productions.
Best of luck to everything that you're working on, and thank you for spending time with me today.
Thank you. You take care.
We'll talk to you on the next one. Bye.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.